It's time to wake up, sheeple. Hello, and greetings from my channel. I just woke up. It's almost 3 o'clock. I have a headache, and I want to die. And again, you know what time of the video is. It's where I'm going to ask if you could please subscribe and like, follow me on these socials, and share this around. I want people to see this kind of content and build this kind of like community of basically gay nerds. So yeah, please do that right there. Thank you. So, I was on the interwebs, as you do, and I was searching through some good old D&D tags on Twitter, and I found a gem this week, a very wonderful gem. I don't know how to explain this other than you just have to read it, but like, you just have to read what this person said. So someone said this. It says, I don't know who needs to hear this, but D&D is a right-wing conservative fantasy with a coat of paint on it.
All around me are familiar faces, worn out.
Now, I don't know how your response was to seeing this, but when I saw this, all I could think was, what? The thread goes on, things are said. Basically, what is said next is things like, you can't apply rigorous analysis to the game, honestly, without understanding this. Oh, I'm so cool. You ever think it's weird how the game doesn't have real life diseases? You know, the fantasy game, how it doesn't have real life diseases? The more we understand, the better we can be prepared. Prepared for what? It's a game! It's a role-playing game! Okay, so I have a lot of thoughts on this stupidity. Like, I don't... listen, I know people started posting on it and they started saying things like, you know, Gary Gygax was racist, blah, 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 whatever. Like, here's the thing. If we're talking about, at least if we're talking about 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons today, basically you start reading the book. Like, I can find the book right behind me. You read the book and it basically says, here are the rules. You don't like them, throw them out. Make up your own rules. Oh, a game where I can choose how the role-playing goes? That's insane! The whole ploy, I think, of this thread was supposed to be going with orcs were coded as African-Americans or other people of color. Which, the thing is, especially when you're at my seat of like, you're the dungeon master, the DM, the person who makes the game and the stories and everything, if you choose to see orcs that way, that's on you. Like I said, you can literally change the rules, change the roles, change the whole world in the game. If you see orcs that way and you put them in your game that way, that's on you, not on the game. And listen, it's important to know troubling facts about a lot of things. Like, you know, the countries that were like, the Holocaust didn't exist. You're like, no. We have to talk about this real quick. You can't just say the Holocaust didn't exist. Like, it did! Or Lovecraft, for example. I love Lovecraft's work, but he's super racist. He was even super racist for his time. Of course, I know that, I don't like that, I disagree with it, but I still think I can separate art from artist while understanding that what they were writing, when they were writing, had very twisted intent around it. You are allowed to enjoy things even if they do not have a semblance of perfectness to them. And it's okay to understand that this is where it came from. Like, this would have been a very different thread if it said like, hey, did you all know that Gary Gygax was kind of racist? And let's talk about how he probably intended for orcs to be ran as a code for people of color. That's different. Going, F you, this game sucks and you're stupid for not knowing it. It just seems like you're picking something, especially a game that has different editions, because it changes so often, that currently, right now, is not the same. And also, the whole idea of orcs being evil to you isn't a racial coded thing. It's a Lord of the Rings thing. Orcs originated in Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien. Now, is Tolkien racist? Probably. Everyone like was racist. Like there are no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Everybody has been some type of racist in their own life at every point in time. Recognizing it is good, don't ignore it. Like, that has happened. That it is bad, we try to fix it. And everybody has. Everyone. Anyway, the whole thing about orcs being evil in that is because orcs aren't originally their own race in Lord of the Rings or in Middle-earth lore. They were elves that were twisted by like the evil Lucifer god character. That's what orcs are. So orcs in that being evil makes total sense. When you go into D&D, orcs are their own race. Well, first of all, technically, orcs are a monster set, and then half orcs are the race. Because orcs are supposed to be like monsters that are huge and barbaric, which, again, if you don't like that, change it. Like, you can change it. You're allowed to change it. I was literally playing D&D the other night. We were doing a one-shot, and someone wanted to play, like, the monster stat in Volo's Guide as an orc, and said, it says I get -2 intelligence because I'm playing this. Can we just get rid of that? Because I just want to play a cool, really huge orc. And the DM was like, yeah, that's fine. You can say, I don't like that, change it. Like, that's what you're allowed to do in D&D. It's crazy. It's crazy how you're allowed to do these things, but you, single-minded person, is choosing to feel that way. You are choosing to look at it that way. Like, you could be choosing anything that'd be like, there's a problem with it. Like Lovecraft, that's a great example. Be like, Lovecraft, did you know that he was basically a horrible person? And I would be like, I am on board with you. I would still say I enjoy his work when he's not talking about racist things, but like, I agree with you. When you choose something like D&D that is as malleable as it is, where basically the rules say, throw out the rules if you like, why do you have to be like the fun police on that? You're allowed to feel that way about D&D, but why do you have to like push it on to everybody else? Do you just want it to be like the Fairly Odd Parents episode where everyone's just a gray blob?
And I wish everything and everybody in the world looked exactly the same. Hey, what happened? Hey, I'm a gray blob! Oh my gosh, everybody looks exactly the same! Gray blobs!
Hey there! Wanna play some blob ball?
I only play Timmy ball.
What's a Timmy?
Man, this world reeks!
And also just like the tone of that whole like thread just made it seem like, now that you know this, don't. It just sounds like you either say you know it and now you're a bad person because you know it, or that I do not see it. Also, I'm just gonna say this out loud because right-wing conservative fantasy with a coat of paint on it, I feel like a majority of the people who play now are queer artists. Like, what are you talking about? It's just like such a weird thing when you like kind of like force your like really intense opinion. I mean the opinion of you going D&D is bad because XYZ. Especially when it's D&D. You can make anything out of D&D. If you choose to make everybody white bread and there's no culture and no race, that's up to you. So if you're saying remove all race things, remove all culture things, because guess what? Race and culture kind of goes together, and just make everybody a white bread, like, that's boring. I go up to a tiefling and I go up to an orc and they both have the same accent, they both have the same demeanor, they both have had the same experiences. Wow, this is so fun. I'm glad this is how I'm spending my Monday nights about fantasy. Thank you. Let's have another session, DM. Maybe next week we can meet a dragon. When we meet the dragon is actually the same size as us and doesn't do anything other than talk at us like everybody else in this campaign. This is so fun. Roll a dice? Oh, every time I roll a dice, it lands on a 20. D&D is supposed to be fun. It is supposed to be what you want it to make it. It is supposed to be what you and your party around you, or you and your DM want to make it, so it is a fun night with your friends. That is what D&D is supposed to be. There are going to be hard times in D&D where people get angry and or cry. There are going to be great times when people are laughing and being goofy. That's the name of the game. It's supposed to be fun. So, like, I'm sick of people trying to just, like, implement their... This is not just a D&D thing, it's like an all thing, but, like, do you really gotta be the fun police? Can you just like, can you really just, you can say that, listen, if you didn't know this, and people can choose to listen or not, and that's up to them. That doesn't make them a good or bad person, as long as they're not hurting anybody, like, you know what I mean? Just let it be fun. Just let D&D be fun. That's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be fun. And you adding what you know about the real world to put into a fantasy world, so then the fantasy world seems real, that's cooler than pretending everybody's a gray blob. That's all I'm gonna say. Anyway, that's the video today, guys. I'm gonna try to get, I swear, I'm gonna try to do 2 videos a week. I keep saying this, but I'm going to try to do 2 videos a week. I just have been like finding no motivation while in quarantine, so I'm gonna really try. Like, hopefully this week will be the first time that I have a Wednesday video. Subscribe. We're almost at 100. Maybe I'll make a 100 video where I just like pop a balloon or something. So subscribe and comment. Tell me what you think about this situation. Like, what do you do with races? What do you do when you DM? Or like, what have you experienced from a DM that has had different races within D&D? I guess that's it. Thanks for watching. See you guys.